Thank you, Cancórla. Minister, while there is no doubt that we need more new homes, as you are aware, I have long advocated for the release of vacant homes to assist those in urgent need of housing today. I have argued that we have streets in our towns and villages that have not had a football kicked on them for a generation. Many of them are vacant family homes close to schools and services and have high-speed broadband outside the door. My proposal for the introduction of the Vacant Home Refurbishment Grant, which you steered through government, is now beginning to yield tangible benefits, and I want to thank you for taking this initiative up. Furthermore, I highlighted the unjust triple taxation imposed on older people in long-term nursing home care who choose to rent out their homes. I am pleased to acknowledge that the government's actions this week to actually dismantle these barriers. This change has the potential to introduce an additional 3,115 rental properties onto the market. There were initial concerns that this policy might inadvertently pressure older people into long-term nursing home care. However, in a response to me from Minister Mary Butler last March, she assured Dáil Éireann that there were no concerns regarding the thoroughness of the existing independent medical assessments for care needs conducted by the HSE prior to nursing home admissions. This crucial point has been overlooked in much of the public debate on this matter. I also wish to commend Minister Heather Humphreys on her prompt action in extending the rent-a-room relief to social welfare recipients who are interested in renting out a spare room in their homes, a suggestion that I made in light of the potential benefits. This initiative is not only about providing essential housing, but it also offers companionship, enhances security and peace of mind, which can be invaluable to older people. Thanks to this scheme, older people can now earn €269.23 weekly or €14,000 annually by renting out a room without affecting their non-state contributory pension or the benefits of a spouse or adult dependent of a contributory pensioner. However, Minister, to fully capitalise on this opportunity and create additional accommodation, we must address the existing medical card barrier that is currently hindering many older people from participating in this scheme. At present, if a pensioner under the age of 70 or any other social welfare recipient receives an additional income, they face the prospect of losing their medical card. This has now become a barrier to releasing vacant rooms to meet our current housing needs, a point which I highlighted last March. Minister, the medical card income limits have not increased since 2005, which is denying people on low incomes access to affordable healthcare, barring them from employment opportunities and blocking the release of vacant rooms. Will you intervene?
Thank you, Minister.
Well, can I firstly thank Deputy Naughten for raising these issues in relation to vacancy and the other measures that we brought forward to enable to release further housing stock and accommodation capacity. Particularly thank you for your engagement on that, because you were very helpful and constructive in relation to the establishment of the vacancy grant, which we've done, and pleased to tell deputies here this evening over 5,300 applications in, over nearly 2,500 approvals. So it is working very well, and I've received approval to extend that further into next year and to double the targets that we're setting there. Also, the work that has been done in relation to rent-a-room and the income disregard, and this will be particular focus on students as well there, which I think will be very worthwhile and will have benefits for both students, but for the householders themselves as well, as you've rightly said. The over 70s income limit for medical cards has been changed back in 2021, and you know that. But further to our engagement back in March, where we'd agreed the counter motion that government will extend a rent-a-room scheme disregard for social welfare recipients and extend the disregard into medical card criteria. And we got government approval for that, and the objective of government is to provide for a disregard of up to 14,000 income for persons who have granted a rent-a-room relief by the Revenue Commissioners, such that the income will not be assessed for medical card assessment purposes. At present, income derived from rent-a-room would be assessed under the medical card assessment, but in such cases this income would obviously be a contributing factor. So officials from the Department of Health have subsequently progressed work to identify and develop the legislative requirements needed to give effect to this objective. So we agree this needs to be done, and the income disregard for rent-a-room relief for people on medical cards needs to come into effect. A Health and Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2023 has been drafted, and that provides for the exemption of rent-a-room income from medical card assessment. The general scheme of the bill was approved by Government and published on October the 6th, following which work was undertaken by officials in the Department of Health and also in the Attorney General's office. Drafting of the bill is actually now at its final stages, and I'm being informed by the Department of Health that that is expected to be completed very shortly. And subject to Government approval for the publication of the bill, which I'm sure we will get, it's intended to progress the legislation through the Houses of the Oireachtas in early 2024. But I do thank you for raising this matter. I think it will help, obviously, for people if they're going to lose their medical card because they're renting a room through it. That'll be a big consideration, and they won't do it, frankly. So we've agreed the principle of it. We need to get the legislation completed and into the House.
Thank you, Minister, for your reply. And just to put a face on this discussion, here in November of last year, with the then Taoiseach, I raised the case of Una, who was a 66-year-old pensioner at the time. And despite working all her life, she was in receipt of a non-contributory state pension, and she was refused the medical card because she receives a net income of €1 per week on top of her pension for the renting out of a field. Her next-door neighbour gets an extra €11 per week in the state contributory pension and qualifies for the medical card. Minister, this anomaly arises because these medical card thresholds have not been revised since 2005. The basic rate of social welfare income over that period has gone up by €83.20, and Una and every other Una around the country is being denied access to a medical card for the sake of €1. Minister, this needs to be urgently addressed.
I can assure you, Deputy, it will be, and we'll work with you on it. And the Department of Health, the Minister for Health, is working on this, and we're concluding the drafting of the draft legislation. Just, it's important for the information of the House, as of the 1st of October, there were over 1.6 million medical card holders and over 595,000 GP visit card holders, and this means that more than 42% of the population, and rightly so, has access to free GP care. Eligibility for the cards was extended to all children under the age of 8 from the 11th of August. So a lot of progress has been made in the expansion of the medical card programme and the GP visit card, and I commend the Minister for Health for the work that he has done on that. On this specific issue, Government have agreed the principle and the objective. We're concluding the work in relation to the drafting of the finalised legislation. That will come to Government for approval to publish it, and we want to move this through the Houses early in the new year, because there are many people who would offer a room and accommodation, be able to avail of the rent-a-room scheme, and we want to make sure they do not lose their medical card. So thank you, Deputy, for raising the matter.
Thank you.